This is Ken Lathrop from Coffee Crafters, and we're really excited to announce the release of our new Destoner. It's a Fluid Bed Conical Destoner, which is a new design that we came up with, and went through lots of testing and hundreds of pounds of coffee and debris through it before we got the design right. And this was really a fun project, and the fun part was we got a big commercial 3D printer. So I came up with this concept as I was pouring olive oil in a funnel at home, mixing my dressing, and we were in the process of trying to come up with a new design for the Destoner. And one of the problems was how to increase the capture area of Destoner in a very small space. And so I got the idea of doing the capture weirs around a funnel. And so we actually started printing this funnel over and over and over in the 3D printer. It takes about 24 hours to print one, and we would test it. One of the distribution aspects of it we came up with, which was really our China hat, our top hat. And so it was about how do you distribute beans in the Destoner evenly over a compact space. And so we came up with this design, and basically the hopper fits into this unit, and this unit sits directly over the top of it. And we adjusted the feed rate by printing different opening sizes and a different degree of slope into the introduction. And we made this so you can dump 25 pounds of beans in the hopper. You don't have to feed them in slow. And this regulates that feed rate, goes down over the top of it, over the sides, and then introduces an even amount of coffee around the Fluid Bed Conical Destoner part and the weirs. In testing, we find that the nails, screws, glass, rocks, most of them are captured in the first two weirs, and we have 2 weir areas beyond that to capture anything else. And yeah, it works great. One of the problems with the Destoner was coming up with something that was cost effective to manufacture. So if anybody's ever gone out and looked at what Destoners cost, there was only one that was a comparable type of design on the market. And it was, I think it worked moderately well, but it didn't have the capture area this has, and it certainly was more expensive. So we were very pleased to be able to develop this in-house. Our neighbor has an injection mold business, so we just walked down the street, and they helped us come up with the dies for this to get it injection molded, which made the parts very inexpensive. We also we use our 3D printer to do the motor mounts for the motor, and doing all that stuff in-house also helped keep the cost down. What I'd like to do now is that we'll go out to the Destoner, and we're going to dump 25 pounds of coffee in the Destoner, and we'll just dump 2 buckets of coffee in there as quickly. We'll mix some rocks in there, and we'll watch the Destoner sort them out. So we're going to go ahead and try the Destoner, but what I'd like to do is come over here, Bryce, and we'll show them what's inside, what it looks like. So the Destoner funnel goes down through the table, but when you put it in, you'll see there's a little screw through the side and a notch in the side of the Destoner. So when you put the funnel in, you just align it over that notch, push it down and turn it sideways, and that screw keeps the funnel from blowing out when we turn on the air underneath. And then all we have to do is put the top hat on, and we'll put this part on first. None of this stuff has to clamp down. It holds itself together when it's operating. The 25-pound hopper fits right in here. So I went out in the shop and I grabbed a screw and a nut, and then I just went out in the parking lot and randomly grabbed 4 rocks, the first ones I found, and we'll distribute those in the beans that we're going to dump in, get them mixed up. So when we go to run the Destoner, we're going to go ahead and turn the air on so that the air is running when we dump the beans in. And there's no secret to it. You just dump it in. You can dump it in as fast as you want. So all the beans are going down over the top hat, and then we should find 6 pieces of debris in the funnel when it's done. So this runs at a feed rate of 1,400 pounds an hour. So we really adjusted that, and we got the feed rate that had the best success in capture. We try to run it faster than that. You start losing some of the debris, some of the things will bounce over. So that's a full 25 pounds, and it just takes a couple of minutes to do it. Inside the lid here, you'll feel the air coming out there, and there's a filter in there, and all that filter does is keep the small debris from blowing out into the atmosphere. See it's finishing up there. Okay, and we're ready to take it apart, and we'll see if we captured our rocks and screws. So let's look in here, Bryce. See what we got. Okay, so there's 2 rocks. There's 3 rocks. A screw. And there should be 1 more in there. There is the 6th one. So it captured all those out. When it comes to debris this size, it's really successful at capturing those. It would be possible to get a perfectly shaped piece of debris that would go down and go through the system, or get hung up on top. The top hat keeps anything from a certain diameter from going down, but it's certainly possible for something else to get down there and roll over the weirs. But most of the time, what you'll find in the coffee is debris this size, stuff that goes through the filter, gets scraped up off of the concrete when they're drying the beans. Those are the most common types of debris. So that was it. We captured all 6, and we could run those through 100 times and we would capture them. We did this over and over and over and over and adjusted the feed rates until we got it right. So that's how it operates.